What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison we have the brand new Samsung Galaxy A53 5G and then we have the Samsung Galaxy S22. Keep in mind that for the price of an S22 you can actually buy two of these A53s. So does that mean that the S22 will take pictures twice as good? Well, we're definitely gonna find out in today's video. As always, throughout this video we're gonna see a variety of daytime and nighttime sample pictures and videos, and just before we start make sure to press that like button and let's begin by checking out some pictures that I took with the main cameras on the back of these two devices during the day. Alright, so the pictures that you are seeing on your screen right now are taken with the main cameras on the back of the two devices on auto mode and about a second apart from each other, maybe even less than a second apart. Now, I know that I've left the watermark from the A53 5G on the screen there. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware how big that watermark will be, but you can easily remove it, so you can turn that off from the camera settings, so just in case you're wondering. Okay, so looking at those pictures, first things first, the S22 has the somewhat wider lens, so you can see a bit more in those pictures taken by the S22. For colors, well, if you're looking for the colors that look closer to reality, the S22 will do better. But I feel that a lot of people are actually gonna prefer the more vibrant, more saturated colors that we get in the pictures taken by the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. Aside from the somewhat different colors, for picture sharpness I can't really tell the difference, so both devices take equally sharp pictures, I'm gonna say, but it does seem that the S22 has the better dynamic range in some of those pictures, not all of them, but for most of them it seems that it has the better dynamic range. Now, I don't think that you can go wrong with either device for daytime pictures and basically with sunshine and stuff like that, because the pictures do look quite appealing from both of them, and I think it comes down to if you prefer pictures that are a bit more vibrant, a bit more saturated, or pictures that look a bit closer to reality. So you can definitely edit both pictures and make them look kind of the same. So I can't really say that one is better than the other one for daytime pictures taken with the main cameras. So what do you guys think? Do you prefer the ones from the A53 or the ones from the S22? Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Next we're gonna move on and check out some pictures that I took with the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices and of course during the day. Well, looking at those pictures, the colors kind of look similar in between both devices, so I can't really say that the A53 has more vibrant, more saturated colors. What I did notice, however, is that the dynamic range from the pictures taken by the A53 is better in all those pictures. Funny how that works, because the S22 is the more expensive device out of the two. The same kind of goes for picture sharpness, so I think I prefer every single picture that I took with the ultra-wide camera on the back of the A53. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you prefer the pictures from the S22? Once again, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Next, we are moving on to some portrait mode pictures, and here you have the amazing chance to see me pose for these pictures. Laura didn't want to be in any of those pictures, so I had to take pictures of myself. Alright, looking at the edge detection, well, in one of those pictures it seems that the S22 does better, but for all the other ones there is really no difference. And it comes down to the colors that you prefer. I feel that the pictures taken by the S22 do look a bit more realistic, but the pictures from the A53 are a bit brighter. So I feel that if I would post those two pictures on social media, most people would actually prefer the brighter picture from the A53. So for portrait mode the pictures, I can't really say that one is so much better than the other one because, well, they both do quite well, I'm gonna say. Next we're gonna move on and check out some pictures that I took at night. For all the nighttime pictures that you are seeing, I use the night modes available on both devices, and the night mode is available for the main camera and for the ultra-wide camera. First we are starting with pictures that I took with the main cameras and the night mode. Well, here every single picture taken by the S22 is sharper. If you'd be to zoom in on any of those pictures, you can definitely see that the pictures from the S22 are sharper. Now, color-wise, I really don't like those yellow pictures that we get from the S22. It seems that after the last update that I got on the S22, those nighttime pictures became even more yellow. So I am a big fan of the colors that we got from the pictures from the A53. They do look much more natural because in reality it's not yellow at night. The pictures look more like what you're seeing from the A53. So yes, sharper pictures from the S22, but those colors leave a lot to be desired in my opinion, and I do prefer the colors from the A53. Moving on to pictures taking with the ultra-wide cameras and of course the night mode, well, the same kind of applies as we've had for the main camera. So first of all, I'm not a big fan of those colors that we get from the S22, even though those pictures don't actually look as bad as the pictures that we took with the main camera. So that yellow, it's toned down a little bit, I'm gonna say. But for picture sharpness and picture brightness overall, yes, the S22 still does better. But they have to do something about those yellow colors. I honestly don't like those yellow colors at all. So what do you guys think about those nighttime pictures taken with the night modes? Of course, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some sample videos that I've done, of course, during the day and at night. So the A53 5G, you can record in 4K at 30 frames per second with the main camera and with the ultra-wide camera. Of course, the S22 can record at higher resolutions. We do get optical image stabilization for the main camera on the A53. We get the same on the S22, but the S22 also uses electronic image stabilization together with that optical image stabilization. So of course, the footage from the S22 will be steadier, I'm gonna say. But overall, there is no comparison in between the two. I feel that the S22 does better for pretty much all video recordings that I've done. But I'll let you guys watch those recordings and I'll be back right after. Alright, we have a quick video test between the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G and of course the Samsung Galaxy S22. For this recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. With the S22, of course, I could record at higher resolutions. I could do 4K at 60 frames per second. I could even do 8K at 24 frames per second. With the A53 5G, the maximum recording resolution is 4K at 30 frames per second, but I think that's good enough for a mid-range device. So I'm just walking so you can see how the image stabilization works on both devices. I'm also trying to keep them as steady as possible. It is becoming a bit sunny, finally, after it's been raining for like a week. And I guess we'll walk this way. So yeah, this is how recording done with the A53 5G and the Samsung Galaxy S22 would look like if you're recording in 4K at 30 frames per second and using the main cameras on their backs. For our next video test, we are using the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices and once again recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. I'm gonna pan left slowly. We'll keep going. We're gonna walk the same way as we did for the previous video. So in a way, kind of towards the sun. I'm gonna turn around though and we'll walk this way. It is a bit shadier around here. It's also a bit windy, so you may hear some wind aside from my voice. So yeah, this is how recording would look like if you're using the ultra-wide cameras on the back of these two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. And I might as well show you how a 1080p at 30 frames per second recording would look like using the main cameras on the back of the two devices. As I mentioned earlier, we could record at higher resolutions with the A53 and of course the S22. We're gonna walk this way. This way you can see how the image stabilization looks if you're recording in 1080p, of course. And some people do prefer 1080p recordings because they're easier to edit if you don't have a powerful computer, of course. So yeah, 1080p at 30 frames per second with the main cameras on the back of the S22 and the A53. Alright, and we are moving on to a quick video test done with the front-facing cameras on the A53 5G and of course on the Samsung Galaxy S22 5G. The maximum recording resolution on the S22 for the front-facing camera is 4K at 60 frames per second, where the maximum recording resolution on the A53 is 4K at 30 frames per second. Now, I am happy to see that a mid-range device does 4K with the front-facing camera because a lot of other cheaper devices out there don't support 4K recordings for those front-facing cameras. So yeah, I'm walking fairly normal. I'm trying to keep the phones as steady as possible, and it's also a bit windy, so you may hear some wind aside from my voice. Front-facing cameras, 4K 30 frames per second. Alright, we have a quick video test between the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G and of course the Samsung Galaxy S22 5G. For this recording I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. Now both devices support optical image stabilization, so that's definitely gonna help with vibrations if you're walking and stuff like that. But to the S22 you will get much better, much steadier footage, I feel, because that one also supports electronic image stabilization as well, and you can probably see in this recording right here. So we're gonna head that way. It gets a bit darker around there. So around here it gets a bit darker, just so you can see which one does better in low light basically. Even like this I am quite impressed with the video capabilities in low light of the A53, which is the budget oriented device out of the two. And we are moving on to our next recording in low light, and of course for this recording I'm using the ultra wide cameras on the back of the two devices, and once again recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. And I almost stepped on a can. I'm gonna stop somewhere around here after we pass this, and I guess I'm gonna pan left slowly. And back right. So yeah, this is how recording down with the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices, recording in 4K at 30 frames per second, would look like in low light. So for video recordings, you're gonna notice the biggest difference between the A53 and the S22. The S22 does do better for video recordings than the A53. But for pictures, well, there isn't that big of a difference, I'm gonna say. Moving on to some selfies, well, talking about differences, the S22 does seem to do better for the daytime selfies and for the nighttime selfies. And for those nighttime selfies, both devices support a night mode for selfies, and so I use that night mode. So there you have it, the A53 5G versus the S22 5G. Now, before the last update on the S22, it did seem that it was doing better for nighttime pictures. I'm not sure why they've made those pictures look so yellow after the last update. It is a shame, so we'll probably have to wait for another future update to fix those yellow looking pictures at night. But overall, for the price, the A53 does do pretty good for pictures. Well, videos the S22, but this one doesn't do bad at all for pictures. What do you guys think about the A53? Are the cameras on it improved compared to the A52? Let me know your thoughts below. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.